Greetings everyone. So on this video you're going to learn how to make PowerShell shellcode, and this is going to be pretty similar to how you did it with OS X, but a few things that make it Windows. So starting off, I'm going to show you how to make the difference between good PowerShell script and a bad PowerShell script, like what works with Rmutate. So I do have kit content bad.ps1 is an example of what won't work. Else if is a continuing action of if. Well, this is not going to work because it needs to have this bracket right here on the other side. So else if a continuation of if cannot be at the start of the line. Now this works pretty well, just fine in the script. So if I did bad.ps1, it works. But if I were to copy all of this and then paste it in, we get a lot of errors. So that's an easy way to know if it will work or not. Now, coming from what we did before, we do Rmutate.help. We're going to go to parse, and then the TAC-F64, just like OS X, create Ruby, Python 2.3, Shellcode base64. And the usage is exactly the same, except for parts of the thing for Windows. Now sometimes you can have the bad syntax, so I'll show you an example of when you could, but for this you're going to want to know one extra tool for Rmutate that you might find useful. So if I were to do Rmutate, TAC-help, we're going to go to the MISC miscellaneous, and the RQ for remove quote from Rmutate command. And here you're going to get a lot of demonstrations that you can copy from. But for this example, we're just going to do Rmutate, TAC. First off, you got to do F6 add PS1 TAC PS for PowerShell. And there's the code ready for Rmutate with it, just like we had before. We'll do Rmutate, except this time RQ to remove quote, paste it in, and you'll notice the color change from red to purple. It's kind of like an alert, and instead of our code starting off with our clipboard starting off with a TAC-F, we start off with a PowerShell, and instead of quote here, closing it off, putting inside quotes, it's now outside the quotes. So if I were to paste this in, you can see it works, even though it's a bad PowerShell. See what the difference comes in. And if I were to do Rmutate, we could strip this again, so RQ, and this time we got green for the final there, and you'll see that instead of having IEX in quotes, it's now on the outside. So for example, if you want to paste this into a code, you could, and just to show it works, there it goes. Great. Now, the difference comes in, if I were to do Rmutate, TAC-F6, bad, TAC-PS, TAC obfuscate compress like we did with OS X. You can see here's the acceptable methods, alright, in green, but in red is the unacceptable. So you can see how we have the bracket here, but not the bracket here, so it alerts you. And the reason why is because when we obfuscate this, it gets all sent to one line. And so what would happen is that this right here would go to the next line up here with the colon right here, and that would separate the continuing else statement. So we don't want that. You can use the TECD to disregard in your hex mods, but it's not really suggested because I wouldn't rely to just my regex if you can make it more stable yourself. So I've got the correct version here with the brackets on the outside here. So now you take TAC-F6, to TAC-PS, TAC-obfuscate compress. Oh yeah. There it goes. And let's just run this like we would in OS fixed. This time, no, you don't need a gem call pop because all the statements are pushed to the stack and then popped, unlike the OS X and Linux, where you've got the arguments that are all put into their own register. This one has all the arguments in one register instead of separate registers. So jump call pop is arbitrary, but I'm going to use it because it will decrease the amount of bytes needed. Well, just to show you the difference, I won't use it the first time. So EX DX key. So it works. We have 758 bytes, and you can see these columns of 68 where we pushed it. 68, wherever you heard. 68. Now if we use jump call pop, we go down from 750 to about 650. So we see about 100 bytes. Of course, it'll be a lot more if the code was longer, so if you start seeing a more significant amount. You also see that it ends in a trailing null. You can use TACQ to remove it, but it's not as stable, so I wouldn't suggest using it unless you need it for an exploit. If you're going to encrypt it, just leave the null byte, trailing null byte to terminate the string, because it will give you more stability. Especially if you're using a jump call pop encoder that's looping through, because otherwise it could decrypt the bytes next to it and then cause problems. Alright, next, let's use a real example. So, we're going to edit this. I'm going to show you this PowerShell script here. I already got it. And this came from lavapenetrationtester.com. It's made by this man right here. And I just made two slight changes, changing the maximum MTU to the Ethernet standard. This is also what NCAT uses. And I had to make a modification on the way error handling is taken. Other than that, I think it's a great job done by his part. And this is what we're going to use. So, do NCAT, take LVP, Rmutate, TAC F6, reverse, TAC PS, TAC obfuscate compress. Oh yeah, before I do that, I have this thing set up. Alright, so this is what you get in Metasploit. So it's Windows, PowerShell reverse TCP. Let's take a look at it. Here's what it is, and it's a phenomenal amount of bytes, 1700 bytes. It's huge. And let's take a look and see what this is all about. So remember, if you do Rmutate, tech, help, tech, and you'll see the trans options, miscellaneous. And then we're going to trans for translator. And here we've got the support input-output types. So just want to know where I'm getting this information I'm about to use. So I'm going to do output, which is the same thing as cat. What did I do? MSF. Put code from MSF. And Rmutate tech hex to, tech hex to ASCII. And this is the code we get. This is the shellcode header up here. And let's take this here. And we're going to copy that. It's in my clipboard right now. So Rmutate gzip base64. We know a gzip, and you can see gzip stream right here. Pose a zip base64 or standard base64, ASCII, and CB for clipboard. And here it is. And one of the things, those few things that make it really long, the biggest issue is that they use spaces instead of tabs. But really they don't need tabs even at all, because Rmutate removes all the new lines. And they also use full variables, so SSL stream could be greatly reduced to make that a small variable instead of a full size one. And they even left comments in here. So I don't think their intention was for people to actually use this for exploits, considering the huge size. So hopefully that'll show you why you should not use a Metasploit PowerShell shellcode. Let's see how much different it works with this shellcode. And much smaller. Will be a little bit bigger than that because we've got to have the shellcode header. So did I start some more listening right now? Jump call pop EX. So 795 bytes. It's a whole lot less than 1700. Yeah, so that's why. And remember, you can use MP to send your your shellcode to Metasploit. All right, now another thing you should be pretty well aware of. You can use UAC here to pop a UAC shell, and we're going to make this. We're going to add WW here, which comes from the hex mods. Use Rmutate tech help tech F64 to find out about these different modifications. This is the main one I want to show you. I'm going to use tech df for directory file test rev osx, and this WW is going to hide the window, and we're going to output the data. Let's see what I do. Oh yeah, I gotta do that afterwards. I don't know. First. Now, great. And here, as you can see, the window style hidden. I didn't use the shorthand version because I've had sometimes it won't work. So I haven't had as much success with it, so I did it the more stable. And the verb run as will use the UAC pop. So now, tac df directory file test rev osx. It's a little bit longer this time because of the windows, the way the windows handled, and also the UAC. So, and here it is. But before I start, I wanted to show you that we were using the execution policy bypass this time. Just for proof of concept, we're going to set the restriction policy to be restricted. And you can see it's restricted right now. So if I were to do a script here, like one of them, see if we clear screen, it says it's because the execution policy, because the execution policy. And let's get our listener. Now it's a proof of concept. It's asking us, it's giving the UAC. Notice that the window doesn't stay open. It's running in the background. And when we go over here, you can see we're in the admin directory. It's pretty easy to tell if we're an admin. We can't just do who am I, because if I do, I get the same thing as if I did have currently admin rights. So for admin privs in the shell, but if I did something like echo check if admin in the system32 folder, if I was not an admin right now, I could not direct it to a file. So, and we just sent it to a file without error. Now if I do something like get content test.txt, and that's where an admin. Alright, cool. Hopefully this makes sense. And remember, with Rmutate, you can create PowerShell scripts that will decrease your size by a huge amount compared to Metasploit quickly, easily, and you'll be able to bypass execution policy. And if you can socially engineer your victim, get admin rights right off the bat.